Top 5 small boat accessories under $100. If you haven't seen my top 5 small boat accessories under $50 video, go check that out. We're doubling the budget, baby. We're turning into some big doggone spenders. And let's start with number one. And that is going to be a fish finder. That is right now for $99 on Amazon Prime with free 2-day shipping, you can get my fish finder, the Garmin Striker 4. So this one teeters on the edge of $100, a hair less or a hair more, but I recommend that you download Honey. It's free. This is not a sponsorship. I'm going to show you why. Because it actually tracks the price. And as you can see, if you wait, every once in a while, it'll go down to our $100 budget. And it was there for about a week and then jump back up $15. So it is $100, but you just gotta wait sometimes. I'm not gonna spend too much time on the benefits for fishermen because you probably already know. We will mention it, but let's talk about why I think every boat should have a fish finder for these reasons, even if you don't fish. The Garmin Striker 4 gives you all the information that is super fun to look at and read on the water, and it's like you have eyes under the water. It's fun to have a screen to look at. I just really enjoy it. And it'll show you a bunch of things. I'm just going to mention the top highlights. Number one is water temperature. Every time I launch the boat, that's the first thing I look at. How warm is the temperature? Not only do I love to be able to jump off the boat, swim, go to the beach, I like to know what the water temperature is for my own comfort, but I also like to know what the water temperature is for the fish, because fish like a certain range of water temperature. Not too cold, not too hot. I know if I can see it, it's like, all right, we're good to know. It's just good information to have for me and the fish. You also have an anchor drag alarm. So if I throw anchor and I'm actually dragging it, I have it set to, I think if I've dragged more than half a foot, it's really, really sensitive since I have a small boat and I'm in really particular spots. So I don't want to drag at all. So if I drag more than half a foot, it's going off, but it doesn't usually go off. I got a light boat. We're not dragging much. But it's nice to have an anchor drag alarm so you know you're not creeping in towards the beach that you and your family's trying to hang out. You don't want to get your boat in too shallow. The tide goes out and you're kind of screwed. So having an anchor drag alarm is huge. Also, of course, depth reading. It'll show you it'll basically just show you how the bottom is made up, if there's any sort of structure, if there's any potholes. It can even show you how hard it is. And you always want to know how deep the water is that you're boating. Now, if you're in the middle of a lake, no problem. But if you're in the bays like me, you're constantly taking your boat to beaches, you're fishing flats. You know, my boat, 80% of the time is less than 4 foot of water. So it's really nice to know exactly how deep I am, especially for bigger vessels, probably like yours. You're gonna wanna know so you don't beach it, bottom out, break your motor, break your prop, whatever. Moving on from the depth reading is I have a shallow water alarm on. So if I hit, I think it's 0.8 feet, my fish finder starts beeping really loud saying, hey buddy, get out of here. You're going to have to trim up the trolling motor or start pushing with the paddle. So having a shallow water alarm is also really cool, especially if you're drift fishing on a flats bay boat or anything like that. And you know, you're so in tune to what you're doing, having a little reminder beeping at you, hey, you're a little shallow, let's turn on the trolling motor, use the push pull and get a little bit deeper. They also have a function where it's like a breadcrumb trail. So it's going to track where you've came from, which is super handy. And a lot of people, they'll do it to see how they're tracking when they're drift fishing or drifting. That's most of the fishing I do. That's why I keep using that as an example. But it's nice to have a little built-in GPS, and it tells you where you've come from so you can turn around and follow that all the way back home. It has a built-in clock, and it has a built-in speedometer. Knowing your vessel speed is really, really important for many reasons, whether you're a boat builder, you know, someone like me who's constantly doing modifications and want to see any performance changes. And it's nice to know how fast your boat can go. So having it a speedometer built in, if you're in a small boat like mine that doesn't have a built-in speedometer, it's really good information to know. There's also a live voltage meter that I have selected on, so that way I know if it's hooked up properly, if there's a shorts anywhere, and how much voltage is coming out of my battery, so I know how well my trolling motor is doing. I definitely never want to underpower it, and it's just nice to have it on the screen to know, hey, everything's good. Of course, there is many, many more functions, including all of the fish functions, you know, being able to see the fish in the water, any sort of bottom structure, the bait. But if you're a fisherman, you already know all that. Mostly talking about fish finders for people who have never considered them before. And this is hands down probably the best value fish finder you can get with all the tech that comes with it. Number 2 is a battery box. Now, I'm in the salt waters and the bays. You know, we take on some big waters. You've seen videos of water swamping the transom. I do not want my expensive lithium battery to be exposed to salt water or even fresh water. You know, salt water, of course, is highly corrosive. I do not want that touching that expensive battery. But not only is it going to protect your battery, it kind of cleans it up and makes everything look a lot nicer in your boat. Now, this is really good for people who have an exposed battery like me, or maybe you actually do have a little slot you can put the battery maybe under the casting platform over the bow, and that powers your trolling motor or whatever. but you're looking for some more outlets. Maybe your battery is protected, but you need some way to charge your phone if you don't have that function on your boat like I don't. The battery box comes with, of course, built-in accessory ports. You've got a USB port, and you can charge anything from phones to cameras to drones to whatever has a USB plug. And on the other side, you have a car charger port accessory. I call it a cigarette lighter. I don't really know what the name of this little plug is, but it gives you an opportunity to power different types of devices, or you can plug in the car charger with double USB and charge even more things. And if you have a good enough battery, like I have a 100 amp hour lithium battery in that box, you can charge everything. Excuse me. You can charge everything all day, no problem, including a fish finder and a trolling motor. So it's nice to have the options to, charge your phone and charge whatever you might need charged on the water. Also, it has built-in circuit breakers. So if you're charging your phone, you got your fish finder hooked up, you got your trolling motor, and something crazy in the battery happens, it's going to protect everything plugged into it. So that's just nice extra peace of mind right there. They have quick connect, big old wing nuts on the terminal. So you just kind of unscrew it, plug in whatever you need to plug in and clamp it right back down versus having to use a screwdriver. Like my lithium, it requires a screwdriver to secure the trolling motor and the fish finder, or my lead acid battery, which actually requires a ratchet and a socket, which is not fun doing at the boat ramp. But this, you need no tools to plug in everything you need very quickly at the boat ramp. You pull out of the water, you undo it real quick, and everything's powered off. The battery box protects your batteries, allows a lot more freedom of charging, and quick connect terminals. But if you have a lead acid, not a lithium, this function does not work with lithium, but if you have a lead acid, you can press the test button and it'll tell you on basically from 1 through 4 how much battery you have. Although it's not an accurate estimated time, it is nice to know, okay, I have 4 out of 4 bars. All right, we're down to 3 out of 4 bars. All right, now we're down to 2 out of 4 bars. I'm gonna lead acid, so I know I need to start heading back in. All right, number 3 is a StickIt Anchor. In my last video, I talked about the little anchor spike that's about 2 to 3 foot, designed for anywhere from 0 to 3 foot of water. But this is going to be the more expensive, longer version, the StickIt Anchor. They make them anywhere from about 6 to 12 feet under $100, depending on where you buy it and what brands. But this is going to serve the exact same function as the spike anchor. You don't want to have to throw your grapnel anchor, let it plop in the water, let out the 3-to-1 line ratio, tie it over the bow cleats, and by then, your buddy could have had a big keeper on in the boat, good to go, and you could have spooked fish by moving around the boat too much, throwing out that big anchor. Or you can pick up your StickIt, stick that pole into the water, and it's already usually you're pre-connected to it. Usually there is a cable that stays on it and is already attached to your boat like mine is. But think about it, picking something up, quietly sticking it into the sand or mud or clay or whatever, and you're anchored. You're instantly anchored. You're dead silent, no vibrations, no spot lock, no nothing. Just a stick in the ground, silently anchored over your favorite fishing spot, and you've spooked no fish. So if you fish the flats and your spot lock is spooking off all the fish, or your traditional anchor like mine, it's just a hassle, too loud, too annoying, this is absolutely a phenomenal solution. And also, hey, maybe you just want to take your family to the beach, but you don't want to beach your boat. No problem. Leave your boat out there, bring the anchor, stick an anchor up, stab it into the beach, and you're good to go. Number 4, boat seats. It's pretty simple, but they sell a lot of really affordable solutions on Amazon. Now, this is mostly for the folks who have boats like mine, the Pond Prowler, the Quest Angler, the Sun Dolphin, the Bass Raiders. All of them come with super cheap seats unless you get the upgraded Pelican Bass Raider, especially the Sun Dolphin. They have no pads at all. But using my boat as an example, the factory seats are a plastic mold with just basically really crappy cushions. So the last thing you want when you're out fishing all day is for you to be the reason you have to go back because of back pain, your butt's numb, whatever it might be. I personally stand up when I fish, but after a while, you want to take a load off, sit down. I need a nice, comfortable, ergonomic, supportive seat to keep me on the water longer, because why would you have a seat that would make you prematurely have to go into the boat ramp because of discomfort? There's no reason to, when you could easily upgrade your seats. It looks better, it's functional, and at the end of the day, it's just another one of those things that will keep you on the water longer, and that's what we're looking for. Take care of your back and butt, stay on the water longer, and just upgrade to some cheap seats. Mine are super cheap. I couldn't really find them on Amazon. I don't know if they're discontinued, but they have so many good options at all different price ranges. Just upgrade it if you've got a little pontoon like mine. Trust me. All right, finally, number 5, and this is the first item between these two videos, the $50 and today's video, that is a product I don't actually own and use, and I'm going to tell you why. But a Bimini top could be huge. You can get them all the way from $50 to a couple $100 on Amazon, and it depends on the size of your boat and whatever you might need. But a Bimini top is great because, well, what it does is it's a sunshade and it's retractable. So you can either not use it or throw it up and be protected from the sun. It's pretty simple. There's not a whole lot I can say, but a lot of people didn't know that you could buy Bimini tops for, $60, $65 and get a highly rated quality Bimini top for your small boats, no problem. The reason I don't have it on mine is because I am usually either fishing with friends on my boat or my wife. So it's a two-man boat. I always have someone else with me. And if the Bimini top was up, let's say I have a 10-foot boat, I have a 6-foot Bimini top, I could scoot it all the way to the back. I can be in the shade while I'm driving, go up, cast over the bow, no problem. I've got 4 feet of clearance. But if there's someone else with me, they have all the clearance in the world over the bow. But in the stern, I'm held in, by the supporting poles of the Bimini top. My range of motion is basically 0, and I can't cast or fish. I guess I could drop it, but I've got my anchor, my net, all sorts of stuff back there. That's why I don't have it, because of the range of motion and how little I would actually probably be able to use it. But if I start, my friends are starting to get their own little vessels. My wife is starting to not go on the water as much because I like to stay out there for 6 hours. So if I'm going to start running solo most of the time, I'll definitely get it and install it, and we'll make a video about that. But hey, a $60 Bimini top for your small boat. It could be a John boat. It could even be a little flats boat, like, let's see, a Carolina Skiff, a Mako, anything like that. They make them for all different sizes of boats. Definitely check out a Bimini top if you're looking for some retractable shade. Anyway, that is my top 5 small boating accessories that I personally really love and find a lot of benefits on my boat and my fishing. Hope you enjoyed. Hit the like, subscribe button. Maybe we'll bump it up to 150, top 5 boating accessories under $200. I've got more $50 and $100 boating accessories. We'll see how these videos do. Let me know if that sounds interesting. I'll see you next time.